The president of this United States has his Twitter removed. Everybody looks at that and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. Haha, if you're a Democrat. But they should be terrified.
My name is Sarah Waters. I am 31 years old. I was the president of Federalist Society at my law school, and I'm currently a practicing attorney.
My name is Michael P. Sill. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm 69 years old, and I consider myself to be a pretty conservative, staunch Republican.
My name is Kaylee Hernandez, and I'm 23, and I'm from Iron River, Michigan, and I've done Trump campaigns and rallies and all that kind of good stuff.
Hi, my name is Bethany Bartlett. I am 43 years old.
My name is Berg. I'm 18. I'm a policy analyst with the YIP Institute. I'm a congressional intern with the House of Representatives.
My name is Jordan Mervine. I'm 14. I'm from Orange County, California. I have grown up in a family of Republicans.
The first prompt is, lockdown was necessary.
I do think some form of lockdown was essential to reducing the numbers of COVID cases and reducing the deaths from that as well.
The lockdown was definitely necessary for the safety of everyone, masks and all that. I think it was definitely necessary.
Can I have my disagreeers turn their cameras back on?
Just from my opinion, I think that COVID was used primarily as a political statement.
Very politically used. I do agree that in the very beginning, because of the unknown factors, that we needed to do something and we needed to lock down till we figured it out.
Personally, I know people in the nursing home, 97, 98, 100 years old, that survived it. And no one talks about that. They just talk about how the lockdown was good.
The 1 minute they're saying wear a mask, next minute don't wear a mask, and this is happening and that's happening. And I grew up, we did trust our government. We did trust our police officers. We did trust things. And I felt that was breached.
The stimulus checks were necessary despite the inflation concerns.
Being a business owner, I'm having an extreme difficult time filling my positions right now because the unemployment is still available. People can collect more money sitting on their couch than they can coming back to work.
I don't think a lot of people have that, go-getter, for lack of a better term, attitude to actually do something and make themselves better out of that time. They just want to sit on their couch and do nothing.
The inflation did outweigh the aid because the amount of aid that was being provided was causing markets, causing private sector to cause price inflation, and as the prices go up, it made the checks pointless.
Can I have my disagreeers turn their cameras back on?
So at that point, they had to give the aid because people couldn't go to their jobs. Most of those jobs were closed down. So they locked us down, then they gave us a bunch of aid, just another way to control us.
I am religious.
I go to church every week, and a lot of people in my church help me with my Unlock Michigan, and they help not really politically, but more ideology that can help our country be better.
Socially, I'll be religious, and culturally, I'll be religious. When it comes to a point of implementing that into domestic, foreign, and fiscal policy, I'm not on board with that.
I'm a firm believer in being able to be free, and I think there's a lot of things in the Bible that can be applied to politics, but I don't think necessarily it should rule the majority.
I do think I differ a little bit. Christianity, like for instance, in abortion, I differ a lot on the social issues.
I have been taught Christianity, but to personally go on my beliefs would consider myself to be an atheist.
Conservatives are censored more than liberals.
Free speech is being trampled on the conservative side, and more on the liberal side, they can kind of say whatever they want, do what they want, and with no repercussions. And if we tried to do that, we'd be chastised.
They're censoring, which is what a news station and people that are able to do, but they're censoring left and right. And on a very high when it comes to the president in the United States has his Twitter removed. Everybody looks at that and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. Haha, if you're a Democrat. What they should be terrified when the president of the United States is removed because the Twitter guy doesn't think that he has the right to speak, then it's only funny right now because you're not being silenced.
It's going back to that old adage of, somebody spoke up, no one said anything. Someone else spoke up, no one said anything. And then, when it started happening to you, no one said anything because there was no one left.
Communism is a threat to our country.
I lived and grew up during the 50s and 60s, during the Cold War, and I remember at 8 years old watching Nikita Khrushchev take his shoe off and bang it on the table and said, "We will bury you."
I've seen plenty of polls that say that people do think that it's like an imminent threat, and then it's like very on the rise, and it needs to be combated immediately. But it's not. I don't think it's as bad an issue as people think that it is right now.
Donald Trump made America great again.
There were things that he said that got people pretty upset, and there were times where I was like, oh, well, maybe he shouldn't have said that.
I think America has always been a great country. I think that a lot of the divide, especially the racial divide, the political divide, happened under Obama.
A lot were kind of afraid to side with him for reasons like you mentioned. They might be unsure of how he went about things or how he said things callously or not. And I think that it kind of worked against them.
The one thing about him is he just says it the way it is. And although it's rough around the edges, and I'm not offended by it, and some people are offended by.
I wish that I could have had most of his policies and a different politician, one that didn't say the things that he said or acted the way he acted.
The media portrays me as something I'm not.
Far left progressive liberals like deem us racist, white supremacist, whatever, just because we are simply choosing to align with the Republican Party.
Republicans are so largely characterized by the very far right extremists.
There's a lot of stereotypes that go to the Republican Party, and there's a lot of misleading comments about, oh, you're a Republican, probably racist, right?
I kind of look at the labels that they throw out at being an old white male. You're an elitist, you're a racist, your success was built on the heads and feet of other people to get there. And, there's not truth to this.
I'm Hispanic, and then someone saw me wearing that and they knew I was Hispanic. They're like, you're Latino. I don't understand.
Transgender females should be allowed to compete in female athletics.
Men have the capability to be stronger than women. The majority of the time, obviously not always true. But I think it gives them an unfair advantage.
It's like you're not seeing trans guys that have transitioned from a female to a man fight for this spot on a male team because they're not going to make it.
Fake news is a real problem.
It's any amount, doesn't matter how minuscule it is, it's definitely a problem.
If fake news is around, how are we supposed to believe anything that's put out online?
I feel like a lot of the journalists, like what Michael was talking about, just either have stopped doing that if they ever were, because there's just not a market for it anymore. They don't want that because, the ratings.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I've been on some of these before, and some of them can get kind of hostile.
I think we all agreed a lot more than I thought we were going to.
I think that we're all binding together, that we all want to be free and be able to live how we want to live.
It's really cool to see that although we all identify as the same party, there's still like a lot of different views, but we agreed with each other on different things as well.
I did think that this experience was really good with the questions that we had, the answers that we gave, and the conversations that we all had with each other, and the dialogue was great.
It was just really fun to openly express everyone's opinions without getting into little fist fights about it.